Hi, writer friends, and welcome to the Right Away After Party. I'm Nick,
And I'm Cath.
and this is the Right Away After Party. Oh, I just said
Yes, that's the thing. We should say it again. It's the Right Away After Party.
that. We are just having a ball here. If you like what you see and you love what you hear, please share it with others and please like and subscribe to our channel. We love what we do. We love to bring it to you. So please support us like we support you. All right, back to the show. All
Back to the show. Yeah.
right,
Talking, we're
I
always,
set my timer for 15
oh,
minutes,
good.
by the
For
way.
15? All
Yes.
right, let's do it. We're always looking for new topics. If you have a topic you want to hear more about, let us know. Let us know. Send us an email, make a comment below here,
Yeah.
or just call Nick. Pick up the phone, call Nick, say, "Hey Nick, I want to know more about blah blah blah. What do you do when blah blah blah?"
Yeah, because I mean, otherwise we just pluck from our own lives and, discuss it, as we go.
Exactly.
So if there is something that's nagging you or something you really want to hear from us, and, we're open book, no pun intended, or pun intended. We're willing to be vulnerable and talk about whatever. So
Yeah, that's it. And because we're both in the middle of chaos
yeah,
in this season of our lives,
yeah,
the topic today is
yeah, pushing through,
mm, yeah.
pushing through. It's interesting because there's a lot happening, and I'm trying to have tunnel vision, and not like keep looking outward. Um,
Mhm.
I mean, it's difficult being on sub and and at the same time working on new projects because in the back of my mind, I'm like, well, what if this one fails, or what if this one's not great, or what if this one, am I wasting my time here? And that can't live in the land of creativity. Like that has to like go away.
But it has to live there, doesn't it? It's part of our job.
Yeah, but it's difficult. It's a difficult line, and it does give me a new eye when I go to my work. Is this going to be entertaining? Is someone going to want to read this? Am I investing my time in the right project? And all of it has to do with I guess pushing through and, really just understanding that there's a process and like trusting the process. We just had a
Mm.
guest on who, didn't even realize he was in the middle of a process when, when the process was happening. But it does
That
kind of
was
feel like,
fascinating, wasn't it?
yeah, it does feel like there's a greater plan when you're kind of like, picking these stories to work on. And, it's interesting because the one story that I'm still kind of developing and haven't started yet, people are coming into my life that are experts that can kind of help me with the story about the horse. And a girl that I work with, her daughters just graduated, both of them. One is a horse surgeon and one of them is a PT for horses. And they both graduated and now they're like have their own practices. And I'm like, well, there's a plethora of source right there for this story. So I guess that story maybe does have legs, again, no pun intended. It's going to gallop away with me.
Ah, but
but but it's just interesting how life presents itself that way when you're not sure of what story to pick or what story to really invest in or spend time with. It's especially for me because I just have like I've been dabbling with a bunch of different stories and they're almost all kind of done, but which one do I want to go back and revise and really
mm,
make a story? Like that's the hard decision. they were
yeah.
all they were all fun first drafts and I enjoyed all of them, and they all kind of like served their own purpose, because it was interesting doing all those different writing styles. And like one is third close, which I have never written third close before. The other one's pen and paper in a notebook. Two different points of view, one third person, one first person. The other one's on my phone. That one's almost done. That was way interesting. Writing a book on your phone was so
To
challenging.
say, yes, what a challenge. Did you use a particular app or did you just do it
I
on your
literally wrote it in my notes. I
in
wrote
your
it in my
notes?
notes. Yeah,
Hmm.
I just had the title and then by with my name, and then I just kind of dissected the chapters of what I thought the chapters would be, And then and the funniest thing is I didn't even write that linear. I wrote that, sometimes I would skip down and write a chapter and then skip back up and write that chapter. It
That's
was
the diplomat one, right?
down to that. No, that's the one about the comedian that
Oh.
wears the Saint Bernard mask. The diplomat one is called My Perfect Husband, and
Yeah.
that one I wrote in a notebook. I'm still working on that story because it took a really weird turn. They found a body in the garden, and so it became a murder mystery, which I've never written a murder mystery before.
Well, all right then.
It was supposed to be about domestic violence, and it didn't pan out.
Well, listen, I would say a murder kind of falls into violence
Yeah,
in a house. It's domestic, yes.
yeah. I mean, it ended up being a domestic
So
murder instead
tell
of
us how you feel you're in the pressure cooker right now.
yeah. So I feel like
All of that.
it's like, what do I do with all of that? Like where does all that go? What am I doing with it? Like, is any of it viable? Does any of it have a heartbeat? I don't.
I'm sure it does. But you're also going on a podcast?
Yes. So in the midst of all of this, and my day job, which is, we won't discuss that because I don't know where that's going. But I've been asked to go on a podcast, and the podcast is by Anna. That was one of our guests, and she has a podcast where she matches fosters and adoptees with an artist of some kind, and they either write a song or a poem or prose or some kind of work of art that
Mm-hmm.
describes the person, that's the foster, of the adoptee. And I've been asked to do this, and so I met the person that I'm paired with. We had a Zoom call. It was very interesting. It was so interesting to hear her side of her story, because the idea was to try to find a connection,
Mm-hmm.
and wow, what a connection I felt like we had. I don't know if she agrees, but like I really felt like there was this, like, I always felt like I wasn't part of my family. Like I always felt like I was on the outskirts of my family. I have
Well,
had,
you were told that, weren't you?
well, yeah, I mean, I was definitely told that to my face many times, and it was also very implied. When you show up to a house and there's no room for you, and you're supposed to stay the whole summer, and then they have to take the bed down from the attic and they have to disrupt the whole house
Mm,
because
mm,
you're finally, you're arrived, when it was already, it was given that I was coming.
mm.
But the day that I arrived, it was just that's how my whole childhood kind of, like, and then I come back to this house that's supposed to be my house, and it just doesn't feel that way,
And look at you now,
yeah. Yeah.
the
So
happiest, smilingest, most evolved, and uh, interesting person.
yeah, so it was a fun experience,
Mm,
talking with her,
yeah.
and then she keeps a blog, and so she pointed me to her blog where I could get some more information on her. And the one that I read was about Mother's Day, and it was interesting because I had just told her about how that was such a hard time for me when
Mm,
I was a kid, and that was the blog that I opened up. That was the last blog that she wrote, was about that. So it was just, there was a lot of similarities. I definitely feel like this is going to be a challenge. I don't write poetry.
good. So, in
I
the middle of all this chaos, a poem completely out of your comfort zone,
Yes,
completely out of your daily practice and
yes,
routine,
absolutely.
about someone you have never met before in your life. I am fascinated. Promise me that you will come back and share that poem with us here.
Okay, yeah. Once it's already like up on her podcast and we done
Yeah.
all that, I don't know. I will send a link to her podcast, so we'll share links. But yeah, it was so interesting, and I actually would love to have Grace on our show because she actually is a writer.
Oh,
And it would be interesting to have her, come and give her perspective on writing, because she doesn't write. I don't think she writes books per se, but she definitely writes for her community. Um,
oh,
and
uh,
she loved to be a voice and to lift up, others, which I think is always something we love to celebrate on our show. So,
yeah,
but
yeah.
again, and life just kind of throws curveballs. I know you're dealing with a lot right now, but are you writing at all? Are you finding that you
No,
have time to write or space?
no. Look, here's my journal. And the last day I wrote was 6:18.
Okay.
And
So
it just
you're not even doing your 100 words a day? You're not doing any of it?
no, but that being said, we are keeping in our notes on our phones a running commentary journal about my husband's journey in the hospital, which has been over a month now. And I've printed this out, and it's almost the size of a book.
Wow.
Everything that's happened and all all the technical aspects of it. We haven't really put much of the emotional side in because then it would be like a epic, so
This
big.
is between you and your children or just yourself or
It's just between, yes, me and my two kids.
okay. Well,
Um,
fascinating. That might be interesting to start maybe to develop with them.
you see, and we were talking about this with our previous guest. We never know what's going on in the season of life that we're living in, that will serve us down the line for another project.
Yeah.
Because somebody once said to me years ago, write what you know about. I
Mhm.
always thought that was a funny thing to say. And then I realized, yes, you know what? Scenes do come alive when you include some personal feeling about what happened. So there might be a medical book in my future, and I just don't know it.
Yeah.
In
I mean,
fact, I have a
or just a family, story that, I mean, this is like taken from the family,
yeah,
I mean,
sure.
have all your perspectives on this one
Yeah.
situation.
You know what? Now that I remember, I have a book that's three-quarters of the way done, and it's a blind woman in hospital, and oh my gosh. And you know how when you get, I don't know if this happens to you, I know it happens to a lot of people. You get to a point in your book and you just sort of can't seem to progress, and you
Hmm.
have to put it aside
Yeah.
because I always think it's life needs to teach me something, show me something, lead me somewhere, or bring a person into my life.
Uh-huh.
And that's exactly what's happened. I've just realized.
Wow.
That's exactly what's happened. This month has given me exactly what I need to continue with that book.
Oh my gosh. Wow. That
That was
just
a revelation.
that
Poof,
just
look what
happened in
happens at
real
the after
time.
party.
That just happened in real time. Oh my
Real,
gosh. Wow.
real time.
Oh my gosh. Now, okay, so like that just gave me goosebumps because this is why we do what we do, right?
Yeah.
This is why I'm almost gonna cry because like, I feel like, even though life has been hard for you and it hasn't been as hard for me. I'm not gonna say that because you have been going through some hard life. But I just think that, pushing through is such a good
Yeah.
subject that we picked today because look at that. You had a breakthrough. You pushed through today and you had a breakthrough. That is amazing. I love that for you.
True. Yes. Sometimes it happens with our writing as well, that we are writing and we sort of go, oh, I don't really have anything to write, so we write. And I
Yeah.
just can't think of anything interesting to say. And so we just write anyway. I don't have anything interesting to say, and I can't think where I want to go. And then suddenly our brain will pop out something completely unexpected.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And that's, I think that's just amazing because as a writer too, like you just, like you said, like sometimes you get to a project and you get to a point of it and you're like, I just don't want to write this anymore. Like, I don't even know why I started this. Like, why didn't I just pick about witches in a bookshelf, a bookstore? Like, why did I write this? This is hard.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah. Yeah,
I
we
don't
must
know.
always go back to the to remembering that our first draft is always going to be rough. That's why it's the first. Just think of the
Yeah.
first of anything. Was your first cake baking experience brilliant? Probably not. I
No.
used, yeah, I used 12 eggs and maybe a spoonful of flour and who knows what else, and it was a disaster. Was
Oh
your
yeah.
first kiss any good? No, probably not. And
No,
so
I had braces. I had terrible braces on both top and bottom.
and it's given you this gorgeous smile today. Um, yeah,
We're out of
so
we're out of time. Oh my gosh, we have 18 seconds.
oh, it's been lovely. It's been
it's
great.
Yeah. I'm so excited for your revelation. I can't wait to see what happens with that.
Me too.
All
Me
right,
too.
writer friends. Well, thank you so much for joining us today. And we hope that we inspired you to push through when there's hard times. And, and it's okay. Like what Cass said, put the manuscript aside and start something new, or
Hmm.
be
Hmm.
crazy like me and start a bunch at once and figure out which one you want to actually invest in. That's okay too. There's not a right way. All right, Cass. Love you.
I love you too, Nick.
Bye, writer friends.